Welcome to the Jim Fleming Show on the Rhody Sports Network. From Learfield, tonight's show is brought to you by Pizza Gourmet. Rhode Island's wood-grilled pizza crust is a proud sponsor of URI football. Dunkin' Donuts, sip the Rhody way. By Rhode Island Medical Imaging, the official medical imaging company of URI Athletics. Newport Propane, Rhode Island's #1 choice for all your propane needs. Ortho Rhode Island, the official orthopedic and sports medicine provider for URI Athletics. And by Dave's Fresh Marketplace, better food, better service. Here's your host, Steve MacDonald.
Alrighty, we are back at our favorite spot, the Mews Tavern, with George McAuliffe as our proprietor. Is that what they say?
That's a very difficult word
to say. Really, he's the owner and
he's a good
GM,
dude.
and he's a great dude.
He bought us lunch. He bought the whole staff dinner on Monday night.
Did he really?
Yeah, we bring wings in on Monday night, and usually, we get him over here and spend good money at his establishment because he's George. But
and the wings are great.
It pays to win.
So George hooked you up.
Yeah, hooked us up.
Oh, man, he is the best. Absolutely. Hey, lots to talk about with the URI Rams. We want to thank our friends at Rhode Island's #1 choice for all your propane needs. Family owned and operated since 1959. That's Newport Propane. Newport Propane will treat you like part of the family. Visit them at newportpropane.com. It's the Jim Fleming Coaches Show from Learfield. And we want to thank all our friends for coming out tonight to celebrate the URI Rams. A lot of work to do, but right now, a lot to talk about. Number 15 in the country, 5 straight wins, 6-1, 6-0 against FCS schools, and 3-0 in the CAA, one of 2 of the 16 teams playing football in the CAA to have not lost a game. Not too bad, Coach, I'll tell you. Best start since 2001, and we are rolling. But hard to believe there is bigger news to talk about.
Doubt.
I know. It sounds like it's impossible, right, to get bigger news.
Even before kickoff, it was the only thing I could think about. It was not New Hampshire.
It was the fact that, last show, URI Football's sports information director was here, Megan Ellis, right? And now this show, URI Football's sports information director is here, Megan Coots. She got married.
She
did. Meg. And here comes George McAuliffe with a incredibly small cheesecake with one candle. Spare no expense, Meg. We went all out for you. Absolutely. Thank you, George. You're the best. Congratulations, Meg. We're all proud of you. Way to go, kiddo. That is awesome. Nice wedding up in Maine, right? It was a great time, and from all I hear, everything went fantastic. So, Meg, congratulations. That cheesecake, George wanted to tell you, it's usually $12.99, but for you, he said $11 even, and it's yours. So you're all set. But congratulations, Meg does so much. Hey, just a quick word. She really does so much. That whole sports information department, but Meg is right on top of everything URI football.
Well, absolutely, and I can't mention Meg without talking about her predecessor, Shane Donaldson, who was one of my longtime friends that I left very delicately at the Central Connecticut game in 2014. Just happened to forget to pick him up. But Meg has come in and done an incredible job. Her spirit is outstanding, and just thrilled to have her. She's doing with our kids, getting them where they need to be and counseling when they need to. So she's done a great job, and I'm just thrilled to be working with her on a day-to-day.
Absolutely. And speaking from the media side, we love Meg and all that she does for us. She's right on top of everything and there to help in every step. Before we get to football, we do have one other thing to talk. It is football-related. Rhody Athletics Challenge, Coach. This is a big deal, and it ends at midnight tonight. You can donate to the University of Rhode Island Athletics 2 specific sports, so your money will be earmarked to the sport that you love the most. Or you can spread it around a little bit, but whatever you put in that particular box goes to that particular sport. It's till midnight tonight, so you got to hop on board. You go to #Rhody Athletics Challenge. #Rhody Athletics Challenge. I checked earlier today. Football was number 2 on the list. The important thing is to have the most monies raised. Then you get a bonus from the athletic department of the school. Yeah. You get a bonus monies to put into your program. And also, if you have the most donors, most individual donors, there's a bonus for that as well. And right now, you're in second place amongst all the athletic programs at URI and very, very close to first. So we're urging all football fans, all Rhody football fans, to get all alums. Hashtag Rhody Athletics Challenge. And, Coach, maybe you can give them an idea of what happens with that money.
Well, that money does a number of different things. First and foremost, it gives our kids the best, student-athlete experience you can. There's some money that's involved in feeding them properly. There's money that's involved in supporting them in a number of different initiatives. And then there's the money that we want to continue to grow our program. I mean, we've got a lot of things we need to continue to do to be able to keep up with the Joneses, and without having the contributions of people that are given very, very generously, we can't do it. Now, the ease of operation becomes so much easier when we have a little extra cash, and what we're allowed to do there is really put it back into the kids. I want to make sure that whenever we spend dollars, it's going to increase their experience and their opportunity to reach their fullest potential. So, and I can't, go on without mentioning that one of the guys that's so important in terms of our fundraising efforts and organization of this one is Garrett Waller, who's sitting over here.
All right,
yes,
Garrett.
Sir. Worthy of a wealthy round of applause. He's a tireless worker that continues to go on a very frustrating job, I would imagine. But the numbers speak for themselves, and watching our program grow has a lot of connection with his efforts throughout the years, and couldn't be happier to have him here tonight.
Absolutely. When you said frustrating job, Garrett's head turned. You're going, oh, yeah, they're talking about me.
well, we do have some closed-door sessions, and those will stay closed doors.
That's right. That's a whole other show. Hashtag Rhody Athletics Challenge. Please hop on board and help out. And this is the way you can get the most mileage out of your donation because of those bonus features. And I think there's all sorts of matching opportunities. Just a lot of good things can happen with those dollars that you put in, however small, it doesn't matter. Anything you can do, plus being a donor, donating anything helps that bonus structure to go in. So there's a lot of ways that your money can travel and help out the football
We've got so many alumni. I mean, football playing alumni. If all of them just go ahead and jump in and give $100, that's going to move our needle tremendously. And we need it. We need to continue to fuel the fire. We need to continue to do what we're doing on the field, win games, and win more games. Mm-hmm. But as we go forward, where do we want to be? Where do we want to be in 10 years? Where do we want to be in 5 years? We know we have some significant things coming online with the new stadium and a lot of exciting things happening with the program, but we still need to be able to support that financially to be able to reach our fullest potential as a program, which I still think is a high ceiling. I think we can continue to grow this thing, and we can present a football program that is nationally recognized and a consistent CAA performer and a CAA championship level program. Yeah. That's my goal.
Speaking of that, Tuesday night, I must confess, I'm watching the Boston Celtics in the banner ceremony, and I'm seeing that banner being raised to the rafters, banner number 18. And I should have been thinking about, all the great players that helped get that there the last year. And I thought, how about Mews Stadium next September, right? Unveiling a banner. I mean, there are 2 undefeated teams in this CAA.
You're breaking the rules.
Oh,
man.
I know.
You're breaking the rules.
Am I jinxing you?
No,
okay.
we can't go there.
We'll move on.
We got to go beat Maine. That is our singular focus, and that is everything we need to focus everything on. So,
speaking of Maine,
we will move on. Thanks for mentioning it, though. But I did share very brilliantly that vision. I've shared it for a long period of time. You and I have been together a long time, and we've been chasing the same thing.
Right.
So. Let's beat Maine.
Absolutely, without question. If we do have that day in September, I'm bringing Bob Cousy with me. So URI hosting the Maine Black Bears. You guys are 15 in one poll, 16 in another. Maine getting votes in one of the 2 polls after their big win against Villanova. Coach, they absolutely went to work on a very the number 5 team in the country in Villanova, and that turned a lot of heads.
It always turns heads. I mean, that's the time of year it is right now. You really can't predict what's going to happen. I saw Kennesaw State last night, 0-6 right now. Go beat Liberty, an FBS opponent. It's just one of those things in this league. But when you look at that Villanova game, Mark Ferranti, who's been a very good friend of mine for years and years, knowing that I did work with him for 2 years down there. on his press conference, he was perfect. He said it was Murphy's Law. I mean, they came on out, and it was 3 and out. It was, turn a big strike, touchdown. It was fumble the kickoff return, another touchdown, drive it down to the 31, try to kick a field goal, return 70 yards for another touchdown, and then another touchdown. It was 35-0 before they could get their breath. So
absolutely,
we've been there. I mean, that's where the ball bounces sometimes, and you just got to park it and move on. But, give credit to Maine. They did all of those things. They made the turnovers. They did those things. But and I've watched them throughout the season. They've continued to get better and better. Really impressed with their performance down at Delaware. Watched that game the other day, just looking through it. They're a very good football team. They have belief. They're getting better and better. And it's going to be another, CAA bloodbath, down in Meade, which we've had with them a number of times, and finally figured out a way to beat them for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah, they lead the series, but Rhode Island has won the last 2 years, 2022, URI 26-22 at Meade, and then 2023, 34-17 at Orono, the first win in 25 years there. Getting a lot of those ghosts out of the closet, right? The UNH game, right? 98 was the last time. We beat them.
Yeah.
Got Maine last time around up in Orono. But this Maine team, I was listening to Jordan Stevens, who's their head coach, talking the coaches' press conferences on Monday, and he said he made one point pretty clear. He said this wasn't just one Saturday where we beat Villanova. He said for 3 weeks we've been playing very good football. So he believes that game on Saturday kind of represented close to who they are.
Well, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's very accurate. When you set a plan in motion and you continue to work it on a day-to-day basis, and as long as the plan is good and you've got good players, success is bound to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we've been through that growth, that, and that program has been to places we haven't been in a long, long time. They've been in the playoffs recently. So he's growing that thing. He's been very deliberate in how he's gone about it, and he's got a very good football team that has belief, and it's going to be a battle. That's all I've been telling the kids all week long is that those guys are hungry, we're hungry. Who's going to have the level of emotion necessary to take it? But I'm counting on the Meade Stadium advantage, which I think is significant. Get our fans out there yelling and screaming, making a lot of noise. And I'm counting on my guys. My guys are going to get up. They're prepared. We had a good week of practice. And now they just got to go on out and play loose and play the way they have been, but try to do it for 4 quarters.
There are a few tickets still available for this game. 874 Rams. It's homecoming on Saturday at 1 o'clock. You got a 6-1 team, 3-0 in the CAA. Get out to Meade Stadium. 874 Rams. Go Rhody.com to get tickets. There are a few left. I called over today to see, and they said they do have some available. So let's make sure every single seat is taken. Coach, one of the aspects coming out of this weekend is run defense for both teams. You guys held New Hampshire to 20 yards rushing, and I know Villanova was behind. They may have thrown it a little more than they usually did, but they still ran it quite a bit, and they only had 35 yards rushing, so both teams were able to defend the run.
Yeah, that's what everybody's starting to figure out going into this game. Hey,
yeah.
They're very evenly matched. I feel very good about our run defense. We really. But New Hampshire wanted to throw it a little bit more. They didn't. They tried it, and they weren't really doing very well with the run game, and would rather throw it. But it's Maine is very, very similar to us when I look at them on film, and they're very physical up front. They've got good second-level players, and third-level guys are doing what they need to do. So it's going to be something. Now, when you have those types of defenses, the decision is how much we're going to try to run it. Mm-hmm. We'll find that out on Saturday, but we've got a very talented backfield and I think an offensive line that's continued to go. So it's going to be an interesting battle in the trenches, and I think that'll make a big difference in the game.
I know you're looking and focusing exclusively on Saturday. We all can have the ability to take a little big picture look. And you get to 6-1 and 3-0, and you say, okay, let's take a breath and appreciate all we've done. Then you look at the next 3 games, and you got Maine coming off of Villanova trouncing, right? They trounced the number 5 team in the country. And then Monmouth comes in, who's the highest scoring team in the country at 44 points a game. And then you go at Delaware. I mean, that's a big three right there, a big chunk.
A big three. It's a big three, but you also have the University of Rhode Island, who has not played their best game yet, has not played 4 quarters of football the way we're capable of. And that's what it's going to take every week going forward. And if we can't maintain that level of focus and intensity, then we won't become champions. If we're able to go ahead and play in a very detailed, physical, disciplined manner, then I think we have an opportunity to beat everybody on our schedule.
We've got Troy Gilmer coming on in a little bit. AJ Pena is with us here. 2 guys that you talk about the wins. And here's 2 guys who have certainly been significantly involved in all those victories. And what a great time to have the special teams coordinator on, right? All they've done is just put up a couple of W's for you.
Block field goal a couple weeks ago, then you get a block punt, then you get a muff fumble, in the end zone. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff to build on, but again, we look at it very critically, and we have not achieved, the level of performance that we expect out of our special teams yet. And Troy will be the first one to tell you that.
Yeah, you had the safety at 9:57 of the second quarter, the first points of the game, so it was 2-0. There's never been a college football game at the Division I level anywhere ever that has ended 2-0. So I was kind of rooting for a 2-0 victory.
I was hoping for that. I mean, the first thing I think about, and my trainings on defense for the most part is that, hey, you got enough to win.
Yeah.
You got 2 points. That's it, man.
Just
let's
hold
go.
them.
Yeah,
okay, AJ, just bring us home, baby. Come on. That's pretty much it. It was 3-2 at the half. 5 NFL games in the history of the NFL have ended 2-0. So, but no college games. So that was a pretty cool start. And that was Moses Mews. You talk about the local guys doing good, Coach.
Man.
Here's another example.
Well, I thought that was an incredible, it started with Troy. He studies all this stuff. He gets a plan put together. He presents it to us. I try to go ahead and mess it up for him, and he comes back to what we're supposed to do. And it was well designed. I think we really had them schematically, and then you have a body and a person like Moses Mews who took the coach. And we've got a picture of him with both hands crossed, hands below the eyes, taking the ball off the foot of the punter, which is everything you talk about when you're talking about blocking a punt. And when you look at it come out with execution right now, it's a credit to coaching. It's also a credit to taking coaching. But most of all, it's the talent and skill of the player. It was a perfect snap, and it was a huge, huge part of the ball game.
Without question. On the offensive side, Malik Grant gets his 3rd 100-yard game for you, Coach, and he's really getting in a rhythm.
And that's a guy. That's a guy that we just have to feed. I was talking to Murph today. We've got very talented backfield set. There's not enough touches for all of them. Our 1-2 right now becomes, Malik and Dion. And if we can balance that thing out, to make sure that Malik's getting that thing and Dion's getting his touches as well, then you got Gabe. And, Jaden Griffin, he hadn't even touched it, and he's a very talented back. So I'm running on about that, but, I love that kid. He runs hard. He inspires people in the way he does that. And now we got to go ahead and just continue to get on his back when he's dragging everybody, continue to push him. It's impressive, and he's done it in every game he's played.
He really, really has. And we talked about special teams and defense leading the way for Rhode Island on that game against UNH. As a guy that has made your living on the defensive side of the football for the most part, that beginning of the game, 13 possessions in no time at all. Like it was 3 and out. Of those 13 possessions, 10 punts, and there were 7 3-and-outs combined. Both teams, having trouble getting things going. That safety was the first points on the board midway through the second quarter. So what are your thoughts? You're sizing up this game, and you're seeing both defenses stymie both offenses early on in this one. What are your thoughts?
Just continue to grind, continue to go to the next play. I mean, you're looking for some kind of spark, and you have 3 phases to do that in. I felt that New Hampshire came out early, and I felt that they weren't executing very well from what I expected them to be able to do. Throwing a catch into Tomlinson and the other kid, McCormick, who I thought were really dangerous guys. But there was a lot of bobble balls. We were there to knock them out. So it was a strange game. But when you're looking at people battling out, that it's going to come down to a play that can spark a little bit. And then, you can never discredit an offense that can run the football. and be able to throw a deep shot. And that beautiful throw to Marquise Buchanan late was like, thank you, God.
That was awesome. On the defensive side, Chris Laurenti should be credited as well. We talk about Troy and the special teams.
Yep.
Defensive coordinator for Rhode Island doing a great job. One of Troy's guys, Gabe Solomon, had 6 tackles, a TFL, half a sack, and a quarterback hurry for you. He has been an impactful player, whether it be special teams a couple of weekends ago or just right at the line of scrimmage this time around.
He's another great representation of what it means to be a Rhode Island football player.
Yeah.
Came in, has earned his way, as tough as any human being I've ever seen. Continues to get up. He'll tape himself together to be able to get to practice, go out and practice hard, and then go out and perform very well. So he's a special player, and to see him and AJ be able to hang together and work off of each other is pretty fun to see.
Those two guys are really influential guys at that outside linebacker position, defensive end, call it what you want, but those guys can absolutely change a game. AJ had a couple of sacks in that game against UNH and one of the leaders in the country in sacks and TFLs. We're going to talk to him in a little while. Freddie Millay also, Coach, stepping up for you. Talk about Freddie.
Freddie is an easy guy to talk about. Know him since he was a sophomore in high school. He used to come to our camps during the summer. He would just compete, and he was small. He was a guy that I'm going, I don't want a real small corner. Those big guys out-jump him, but he kept on playing. He kept on competing. He would steal reps from people. I said, we got to have that kind of guy on our squad. And then went over to his school and was sitting there and found out that he called the defenses from the safety position when he was in high school.
From Mount Pleasant, really?
Yeah, crazy. Wow. And I said, all right, this is our guy. And he's been extremely productive. Another kid who's gone out there and just plays tough as heck every single week, throws his body around like nobody, and he's played very big, and he's a very significant part to bringing our whole defensive mentality together.
To give you an idea of the quality of last week and the importance of this Saturday, Freddie was co-defensive player of the week in the CAA, 8 tackles, 1 TFL, a pick, and a forced fumble as well. And the he's in there with Maine's defensive lineman, Xavier Holmes, who had 6 tackles, a sack and a half, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery as well. So that D-line for them and that front seven for them for Maine is strong. Want to see some good guys up there.
It's legit, yeah. I mean, they're physical, they're tough, they get off blocks, and they can run. And the one that you just mentioned is a real concern for us. The best part to mention about Freddie's performance is he is wearing a big cast on his hand. Yeah. So to be able to come up with a pick is even
imagine that.
It's even more remarkable.
Absolutely great. I don't know who's going first, Coach or AJ. Who's up first over there?
I think they'll fight.
AJ's going first.
AJ.
All right,
good.
Coach, a word about AJ before we take a break and get him up here.
His growth from the time we've had him until now has been incredible. His spirit is second to none. I've always had players that you could always kind of lock into when you go out to practice and nod or wink at them and are we good to go? And there is a person, and it's important, man, to be a great football player. You have to love it. You have to love everything about it. You have to love lifting weights. You have to love going through practice. You have to love being able to go out with your boys and just play. And this guy embodies all of that. And so I appreciate so much his spirit. And as much as anything, his ability to go ahead and play the game is also second to none. I mean, Absolutely. I think he's one of the better players in the conference, maybe the best player in the conference. And I would think he'd be worthy of that award if anybody would see fit. But he prepares every day. He will be there, and he is a warrior that represents our school and this state very, very well.
Well, Josiah Silver for UNH and AJ kind of went in as 1-2 into that UNH game. and no disrespect to Josiah, he's a great player.
Yep.
But in that game, AJ comes out with more checks on his side of the box than Josiah. And again, credit to Josiah, he's a great player and having a great year. But AJ showed why if it's 1-2, he's won.
Look, we all share somewhat of a chip on our shoulder just because that's what we are.
Yeah.
And we're a bunch of dogs that just want to go out and play.
Just bitter.
There's not a lot of respect. We're just going to go out and play physical. But, it was outside the lines where CA had something on both those ends. And, there was an absolute purpose in that man's mind to go on out and prove who was the best number 8 on the field. And I think he certainly did that.
Absolutely. And one last thing before we take a break, AJ will come on with us, we'll get into it with him more. But let's just looking at the career totals. He's chasing the number 1 spot in TFLs and sacks. Not there yet, but he's projected to be in good shape, trying to get there. And the names that are associated with him, some of the greats, the great rushers, the great defensive players for Rhode Island, and I've called games for all of them. And AJ, absolutely, positively, I'm not going to say he's at the top of the list. I'm going to say he belongs in that group of absolute excellence from the University of Rhode Island. Lou D'Agostino, LeJean Jones, Frank Ferreira, L.B. Mack. I mean, some of these were here when you were here, Coach. Yeah. Others were preceded you. Great players. And that guy over there, he's on that list for sure. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with AJ in just a bit. Troy Gilmer is going to be with us a little later on. It's Jim Fleming, Coach's Show from the Mews Tavern. Let the cheesecake be served. Welcome back once again to the Mews Tavern. Oh, man, what a great night it is. Big game on Saturday. These games get bigger and bigger and bigger every week. Rhode Island 6-1, 3-0 in the CAA, and absolutely in the real thick of things with this stretch run going, all CAA games the rest of the way. Hashtag Rhody Athletics Challenge. Hop on. Hashtag Rhody Athletics Challenge. I think you can also get there from GoRhody.com if you're not a hashtag person. I am not. But a way to donate to the URI football program ends at midnight tonight, this challenge. All the different sports at URI are represented. You can give specifically to your sport, like football. And the sport that is at the top of the list, numbers of donors and numbers of monies, get a big bonus from the school to help fund their program. So hashtag Rhody Athletics. Basically, you put in $1, it's going to work like $5. So if you put in 100, you do the math. So we would love to have you involved, and thanks so much for doing so. We want to thank our friends at the Pizza Gourmet, Rhode Island's Wood Grilled Pizza Crust, proud sponsor of URI football. Jack Parenti is right over there, hanging with George McAuliffe. Jack is our guy. Order online today at woodgrilledcrusts.com. That's woodgrilledcrusts.com. Although this is the first time I've seen Jack where he has not brought any product. So we're a little disappointed. But, I don't know where he's parked, but I bet there's something in the trunk. That's what I'm guessing. There is something in the back seat. Troy Gilmer is with us. Coach, I tell you what, man, special teams are getting it going, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're outside linebackers as well.
Yeah,
you can't do anything wrong, man.
I don't know if it's me. I think it's all of those guys.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a lot you. You came to town with that guy over there talking to George and Jack, Jim Fleming, 11 years ago, walked in here, and you have represented Rhode Island in a great fashion, and this is absolutely some of the evidence of the work that you've done. Talk about special teams, the influence you've had over the last couple of weeks, but all season long, this group you're working with.
Well, special teams is something we take a lot of pride in, week in and week out, and I think our guys reflect that, in the way that they prepare and the way that they go into it on a Saturday, so it's always been something that's big for us, and, we got to keep pushing. We kind of got to get our return units going a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Gabe Sloat's a great punt returner, and Deion Silas is a great kickoff returner. We got to get those guys going, and that starts with all 11 guys that are out there on the field, but our coverage units are doing a great job as well.
Absolutely. With special teams, at the FCS level, you see a lot of starters, a lot of guys that are out there for a lot of snaps during the game, working on special teams. So how does that affect, or give me an idea of what the division of work throughout the week is? When do you get a chance to work with the special teams guys? How often during the week is that slotted in?
I mean, it's something we do every single day. There's usually always a special teams meeting, whether we're doing 1 or 2 units, a day. So we're meeting on it. We're doing those things that are out there on the field. So we spend a lot of time on it, probably more time than most teams do.
Now, I do want to get into some of the stuff that happened last week against UNH and recently with URI special teams-wise. But you had mentioned Gabe and Deion Silas, who was kind of taken over as the kick returner for Rhode Island, their development. Talk about those two guys individually and where you think they are in that development process.
Well, like I said, I mean, those those two guys are very talented players. They're very talented returners. You know, like I said, we got to continue to do a better job of blocking for those guys and being able to get those guys going a little bit more. You know, that's something that's kind of been missing this year for us. You know, we've always done a great job with our return units, whether it's punt return or whether it's kickoff return, being able to get those guys going, creating some field position for our football team. You know, so I think we got to continue to do a better job. But those two guys are talented. We trust them back there. And we'll get them going in the next few weeks here.
And when you're looking at the kicking game, long snapper Donato Cressanti, one of the best in the country.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's been a mainstay here. You know, he does a great job. You know, he does a great job as a leader on our special teams as well. You know, so he's somebody that kind of takes control of the specialists and being able to make sure that we're leading them in the correct way. But, you know, he's been a great guy for us.
Now, every team has those maybe 5 or 6 or 10 plays during the year that you point to and say, hey, that was a season changer. Or that when we were at LIU and Will Johnson made the tackle for you, your kickoff specialist, on that guy coming up the sideline, and he popped him good right in front of your sideline. Take us through that.
Yeah, I think that's something that they kind of secretly take a lot of pride in, you know. So when they get that opportunity, I know they're really kind of waiting for it and everything like that. But, you know, he took advantage of his opportunity right there, you know. So hopefully we just got to make sure we keep him healthy, and hopefully it doesn't get to him.
He doesn't have to make many more tackles, right? Exactly. But that sideline seemed to electrify. And from there, you were behind at that time. You ended up winning the game. That sideline, everybody, AJ probably can attest to it, right? You see Will pop that guy, and you're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime you're on one of our coverage units, man, and you're making a big play, a big hit, that brings a lot of momentum to our team and our sideline. It gets us going.
And you've got in your punter and kicker a couple of veterans for us now with experience. Ty Groff doing a great job as a field goal kicker, only missing one so far this year. Just talk about his accuracy, his development.
You know, he's somebody that we got a lot of trust in. You know, I know he's kind of probably a little frustrated because, you know, sometimes we're in that area of the field where, you know, it's do you punt it, do you go for it, do you kick the field goal? You know, and a lot of that has to go with the gameplay and how things are going and everything like that. But he's definitely somebody that we trust. We know he's going to get it through the uprights. You know, he's somebody that we got a lot of confidence in.
Now, does he come to you before the game and say, here's my limits, you know, after checking the window, or are you involved in that decision? You watching
It's
them?
A little bit of both. Yeah. You know, we're all kind of out there trying to keep an eye on it. Coach Sinagra as well, you know. We're all kind of out there, and, you know, but those guys will come up to me and kind of let me know where they're feeling comfortable and everything like that, like you said, with the weather and everything.
His long, I think, is 33 right now. He hasn't had the opportunity to have many long kicks. On the day where the wind is not a factor, plus or minus, and it's kind of a neutral day, almost like a dome stadium type of thing, how far back can he go for you? Do you feel comfortable?
You know, you'd like to say somewhere probably around the 33-yard line. That's going to make it close to a 50-yard field goal there. You know, so he's just got to make sure he's getting the height on that ball to be able to get it up and get it over.
Okay, so he's working on that, and Devin Walter doing a great job for you. And the punting department, a word about him.
Yeah, exactly. Devin does a great job as well. We asked him to do a lot of different things. You know, he's kind of you know, what we say, like kind of a normal punt, and he's also, you know, a little bit of a rugby punter as well, you know. So he's doing a lot of different things for us. You know, he's really kind of helping us out and kind of helping us alleviate some of the pressure looks that we get on our punt team, you know, by being able to do both of those things. You know, so he's done a great job for us. He's pinned a good amount inside the 10 for us as well, you know, so those are huge plays for us.
I know the Patriots-Jacksonville game, on a kickoff, there was a kickoff that was returned for a touchdown by the Jags, and Bill Belichick was talking the next day about his former team. He was a little bitter, but he was saying the mistake is that kick went between the hash marks, and so that guy had the whole field to work with.
Exactly.
Talk about how position football is important.
You know, well, I mean, that's part of both of our coverage units. You know, whether you're talking about our punt team or our kickoff team, you know, we really talk about cutting off 2/3 of the field, meaning that we're trying to pin the ball into one area of the field, you know, out there by the numbers of the sideline to kind of eliminate the ability for the return team to get back out to the field, you know. So when you're talking special teams, it's a full field thing, so as much as we can cut off the field, that really kind of helps us out.
Okay, the UNH game, nothing, right? We're just about halfway through the second quarter of play, somewhere in there, but 5 minutes in anyway. Moses Mews with the block punt. Take us through that play.
I mean, it's just a great play by him. You know, it's a great play by all those guys that were out there. You know, we spent a lot of time, like I said, you know, throughout the week trying to game plan and making sure those guys are feeling comfortable with what we have planned out, and, they really did a great job of just executing it, man. I thought Moses did a great job there. And like Coach said, it was kind of picture-perfect technique, being able to take the ball off the foot. Rohan Davey was the next guy in there to try to get on top of that thing. It bounced right off his chest. It should have been 7 points.
Yeah, it could have been.
But, we'll take the safety there.
Absolutely. And then later on, the muffed punt return by UNH and Freddie Camp came up big.
Yeah, absolutely. That all really kind of started with a savvy play by a veteran, Bray Price. He was down there first, after he had muffed that punt, and he was able to kind of get in that guy's way and kind of get that guy out of the way from recovering it, and Freddie Camp was the next guy in there and able to get back on top of it. So we got 7 there, and those are 2 huge plays for us. It's something that we've really been pressing for.
It's like going to a restaurant and having a great meal, and you never think about all the work that went in the kitchen to put that together, right? We see those 2 plays, both game-turning plays. Talk about what goes through not only this week leading up to UNH and those results, but every week. You have to be sitting in there in your office, right, in the dark of the night, trying to find that one thing that might be able to get you one.
Yeah, absolutely. But, that's something that everybody in the country is doing. So it's not just me, but we work hard. We work hard as a staff of being able to game plan and kind of put our guys in the best position as possible. And then, really the whole 90% of it is those guys just going out there and executing, playing fast and playing hard.
So you find out one thing about your opponent, whoever it is that next week on special teams, and say, I think this can get us a real good chance at a block punt or whatever it is. Now, you take that, keep it in your back pocket. When do you use it?
It really kind of depends on the game and how the game is going and everything like that. We go into every game with a couple of different calls for each situation that may pop up. Sometimes we're thinking we're in a situation where for example, punt return where we want to hold up, and then we kind of catch the punt team off guard and bring a pressure.
So it's time and place, right?
Exactly.
You might let a couple of the punts go by because they're just kind of
exactly
course of the game, and then when you say this is a pivotal moment, we're going to go for our highest percentage situation.
Exactly.
How often, say out of 10 games, just to make it an even number, out of 10 games, how often do you go in with something in your back pocket like that, as opposed to just saying, okay, we're good, they're good, and here we go?
Yeah, we go into every game with something in our back pocket.
You find something usually? Yeah.
Exactly. You're always looking for something to, kind of exploit another team's weakness, just like you do on offense and defense. You're trying to find what don't they handle very well and how you can exploit that. So we go into every game with something that we think we can take advantage of.
And on the flip side, you have to watch tape on your guys so that same type of advantage doesn't show, right?
And that's where my big worry is, on a week in and week out basis, So once we're punting and kicking off and that ball's in the air, that's when my heart stops. And but those guys have been doing a great job, man. They play hard and they've been doing a great job of like I said, creating field position. That's something we take a lot of pride in.
Talking to Troy Gilmer, who was in his 11th season on the URI football staff, came with Coach and outside linebacker coach as well as special teams coordinator, and that means you get to coach that guy sitting over there. He can make a coach look awfully good, can he?
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. But I've really kind of been blessed and kind of in this day and age to have a bunch of guys that are in my room that have been there, for 4, 5, 6 years. So that's really kind of a blessing in this day and age.
Yeah, when you look back on some of the guy LB Mack we mentioned and a few others along the way that have been excellent for you. You can be pretty proud of your guys when they come through the system like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. My job is just to put them in the best place possible for them to go be themselves, and I think that really shines out, on Saturdays.
Now you got AJ as your outside linebacker, Gabe on the other side. He's got to be your favorite, right? He's special teams player of the week in the CAA, and he's getting it done every time out there, too.
Absolutely. Both of those guys are warriors, really, man. Like I said, they've been here for so long. They've played a lot of snaps, so they know the grind and everything that it takes. But those guys take a lot of pride in it, man. And like Coach said, they bring a lot of spirit to our football team and our position and our defense.
Fantastic. What do you think? As you look at Maine, your early thoughts, or not early anymore, it's Thursday, your thoughts on what's going to be the factor on Saturday?
I think they're a good football team, man. I think they play very hard. I think they know what they want to do and how to do it. I think they want to run the football and try to get their run game going, and then being able to open up the pass game, as well. So I think they're a good football team that, like I said, really plays hard, and I think that's kind of shows through their coaches.
Coach, thanks for all the work you do, man. You're fantastic, and you're a big reason why the the Rhody Rams, not only the 6-1 right now and 3-0, but the steady progression year in and year out with this team building this program. You're as important a part of it as anybody. We appreciate you very much.
I appreciate the words.
All right. Troy Gilmer with us. We're going to be back with the guy that makes Troy look pretty good, AJ Pena, coming up next. Welcome back once again to the Mews Tavern. Oh, yeah. Celebrating Meg's wedding. Yeah, this is the big after party right here at the Mews. Having a good time. Cheesecake for everyone. That's great. Jack Parenti is here. Jack's hanging out. That's great stuff. The wood grilled pizza crust is the best anywhere. Oh, man. Love that stuff. So we want to thank our friends at Ortho Rhode Island as official orthopedics and sports medicine providers for the Rhody Rams. Ortho Rhode Island helps athletes and active people of all ages get better expertise, better care, better outcomes. Learn how Ortho Rhode Island can help you get better at orthopedicsri.com. The URI Rams at 6-1, winners of their last 5 games, and also 3-0 in conference play. One of 2 undefeated teams in the CAA. Got a big one coming up against Maine. That'll be on Saturday at 1 o'clock. There are tickets still available for that one, so make sure you get out. It's homecoming. There aren't a lot of tickets, so 874-RAMS, GoRhody.com. AJ Pena is with us, one of the best defensive players in the country, and the leader of the URI defense, amongst other guys. We've got some great ones on that side of the ball. AJ, I want to start off Maine 35, Villanova 7. After you finished with UNH, you're on the bus ride back to Kingston from Durham, New Hampshire. You hear about that score. Does that turn your head a little bit and say, okay, we got some work here?
Definitely. I was jaw-dropped on the bus, to be honest, But like Coach Fleming said, it's that point in the time in the season where, you know what I mean, like you start to see the teams who's on that trajectory, there's always like that.
Sure.
Especially in the CAA,
yeah.
Like it's always back and forth. You don't know who's going to be number one in the conference, but, I keen on myself with trying to treat every opponent, you know what I mean? Like they're the same, so, That's what I'm trying to emphasize, my team, my defense, and the whole team, so
absolutely.
It's extremely important.
AJ, outside linebacker, defensive end. Like when people say what position you play, which one do you give them? Outside linebacker or defensive end?
I just say
edge rush.
I say hybrid.
Hybrid. Hybrid. Yep. Yeah. So Phil Steele, second team All CAA last year, All CAA third team, New England Football Writers Association All New England team as well. A lot of honors coming to you this way at the end of this year, obviously, with your tremendous play at that UNH game. Coach and I talked out a little bit. You were up against Josiah Silver, who's a great defensive player for UNH. Was that a personal challenge for you going in?
Definitely. There was a lot of speeches that the coaches gave, prior to during the week that, I was crying a little bit, just because of how much I'm so passionate about this game, but they know how to connect with, the players and know what hits the heart, and I truly believe, I'm the best, you know what I'm saying? That's just how much I work and how much I put into the game, and I expect nothing less, so I always like having a challenge. And I knew that I was out there who was the best 8, and I wanted to show why I was the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, we mentioned your accolades from last year. You've elevated your game again this year. You talk about wanting to be the best. You're number 6 in the country in sacks with 7 of them right now, 1 sack per game. Coming into Saturday's game, you had a couple against UNH, and you're number 8 in the USA in TFLs, tackles for losses. You got 11 of those, so 1.5 TFLs per game for you thus far. Pretty cool to see your name at the very top of the list in this whole country.
Yeah, definitely exciting, but I got to give a lot of credit to my coaches and my teammates for giving me a lot of, one-on-ones. We got 99 in there, big 99.
Yeah, Wesley Neal, yeah.
You can't leave him with a one-on-one because he'll make you pay, you know what I mean? So it's not just, obviously those numbers are great, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. So
you mentioned coaches. Obviously, Coach Flem is here, but Chris Laurenti, the defensive coordinator, is not here. Troy Gilmer, your position coach, is here. So we'll skip Chris because he's not here and talk about Troy. Talk about what Coach Gilmer means to you and how he's helped your game develop.
I mean, he means a lot, you know. When I first came in here, you know what I mean, I was really a one-dimensional player, you know what I mean? And what I mean by that, I mean, like, I was just a pass rusher, but he's done an amazing job with, you know, trying to connect with me and trying to build me into a three-dimensional player, trying to drop back into coverage, stop the run effectively just as much as how I'm affecting the ball, you know, trying to get after the quarterback. So, you know, and also, you know, he's a role model, you know what I'm saying? He has his, you know, his daughter right now that he just had, and you know what I'm saying? And it's just like seeing that, you know, it's just, I want to have my own family soon, you know what I'm saying? So seeing that, it's just.
That is
awesome.
That is fantastic stuff. Take us through a week of preparation, not so much the on-the-field part, but film work, getting to know your opponent, getting to know what your advantages are going into a given weekend.
Oh, I'm always watching film. You know what I mean? Sometimes I wake up late at night. So I should be getting some sleep, but sometimes I'm just up at 2, 3 a.m. just watching just formations and different sets of what these offensive linemen are going to give me in game, just so it's that much easier in game, you know, so I can anticipate different things are happening, you know, just based off where the back is or where I'm at, if it's 3rd and 6, if I have to do more of a conservative rush or more if I can really get after it, you know what I'm saying? Just having, and I talked about this last time, I wanted to be more situationally aware of things coming at me, you know what I mean? And I'm more prepared for that now, and I'm still building on that, but, you know what I mean? That's really what I'm.
It's the difference between you and me. I wake up at 2 in the morning. I make myself a sandwich. You wake up at 2 and you study film. So that's why you're where you are, and that's why I am where I am. Yeah. When you look at last year versus this year, and you talk about wanting to improve your game, you're a junior now. You've got another season to go after this. Where have you improved from the day you walked in? Give me the top maybe 2 areas of the game where AJ Pena is much better now than he was.
Honestly, I would start with caring about school more, honestly. Before I used to think like that stuff didn't matter, you know what I mean? I would just play ball, but knowing that when I'm getting good grades and doing all this is really good for the mind, and it really puts me at peace, so I can really focus on more things on the game itself, like being more of a leader, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's also evolving my game more to the player I am today, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So doing more things that I was doing in high school, you know what I mean? Because it's different when you're a leader from high school and a leader in college, you know what I'm saying? There's different things how you have to approach. People come from different backgrounds, different programs, so you have to learn how to talk to people, you know what I mean? And I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? I'm still learning, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I was looking at your high school. We talked last year about your high school days with Cookie, right? Cookie was a running back?
Yeah, Cookie does it there.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. And you were the defensive player of the year in the conference. He was the offensive player of the year in the conference. Your team was the team of the year, right? Yeah. So you had great work done there. But when you look at what's happening at URI, you're amongst the leaders right now for career numbers at URI. You're 4th in sacks throughout your career, early as it is, right? You still got plenty of football to play. You've got 21.5 sacks, and you're also 5th in all-time at URI in tackles for a loss. And some of the names, and you wouldn't know them, but I know them because I watched them play and doing the games. Frank Ferreira, Lou D'Agostino, LeJon Jones, LB Mack III, which more recent, obviously, Matt Hansen, and others. These are great, great players, and you're on that list. Do you have a goal? Do you know these numbers, and do you say, hey, you know what? By the time I graduate, I want to be at the top of that list?
Yeah, I mean, my goal is to break that record this year still. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we still got some games. I'm trying to get up there. You know what I mean? 33 I already looked at Frank Ferreira and Googled him a little bit. I know he was on the Giants.
Yes, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I saw that. So, you know what I mean? I've been doing my research, trying to figure out, everything about that. But
so the history means something to you.
Oh, definitely. Legacy definitely is a big thing. My last name is extremely important to me, and I want to put that up there. So
now, do you ever, after a Saturday game on Sunday, you're watching some NFL games, and you say to yourself, okay, I'm a junior now. I got another year and a half. I could play in that game.
Oh, definitely. I watch. I can't honestly watching those guys at the next level do what I do, and just them celebrate. It's just so mesmerizing to look at, and it just makes me makes me want to work that much harder, to be where they're at, and I know that's extremely hard to get there, but, you know what I mean, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there,
Absolutely.
Regardless of the outcome.
I was listening to Jordan Stevens, who's the head coach at Maine, talking about URI on Monday, and he said he listed a number of things, you in particular, the defense, but he said that they're a team that knows how to win at the end of games, and that certainly has been the way this season has gone for you. Talk about that fourth quarter, oftentimes coming from behind or in very close games, and you guys have what it takes to get across that finish line. What's behind that?
Like I said, there's a lot of things. It's a lot of guys having to lock in on their job and doing their 1/11th. And it's not easy because there's so much things that happen. It's chaotic in the game of football, and only the championship teams and the best teams can do that. You know what I mean? So, the coaches did, they emphasized, like, if we want to be where we want to be, we got to do this. We got no other choice, you know. You see that Hampton game, I think we were down, 30-14?
Right.
Something like that. And, you know what I'm saying? And then the offense started to get their groove, and then they scored, and I was like, wow, we can do this thing. They put that battery back in our backs to be like, all right, we got to get this stopped. And, they ended up scoring, and then we went to overtime, and it just showed, you know what I mean, just the effort in that game. It just showed that, we just have to.
I was flying home. I sat with Coach Iz, and we were talking, and he said, Steve, this group, and he's seen a lot of them, this group more than any other that he's coached does not quit, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of what you were talking about there, right? I mean, no matter what the situation, they're figuring out a way, okay, here's what we got to do. Are you part of that leadership group? Who else is on that leadership group with you?
Honestly, we got Emmanuel Gomes. He's a safety.
Yeah.
We got Gabe Solomons. We got Wesley Neal. We got Malachi Burby. We got Bray Price. We got Cole Brockwell.
Cole and Devin are doing a great job, aren't they?
Oh, my God.
They're stepping up from last year.
Oh my God. And I feel like they're bringing a whole new physicality to that LB room that we've been needing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And Cole's understanding of the playbook and his football IQ towards the scheme is next level. And honestly, without him, our defense really doesn't run.
Yeah,
so.
two leading tacklers on the team, and amongst the leaders in the CAA in that department. Cole's number 2 in the conference right now. We're going to cancel our Know Your Hometown. We did it last year with you, so we're going to put that aside because I have one more pressing issue to bring up with you. World Series starts tomorrow night. You're from Montclair, New Jersey, just a stone's throw from New York. You a Yankee fan?
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, what do you got in this thing?
Man.
It's a 1-hour show. Take your time, though. Got 7 games. Dodgers, Yankees. Yankees going to win?
I mean, I feel like
How many?
I think it's unrealistic to say, that they're going to get the sweep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But I'm going to say it.
Go ahead and say it.
So I just got to do it.
Sweep.
All rise.
It's a sweep. All rise. Aaron Judge. All rise. You said, we were talking earlier, you said you'd take Judge over Ohtani?
Yeah.
If you had to draft? Really?
Yeah. Taking him.
Hey, I don't mind drafting behind you. I'm taking Ohtani, baby, all the way. Absolutely. I know the best player ever to play the game when I see him. Aaron Judge is good, but Ohtani is otherworldly. AJ, so are you. You are awesome. Thanks so much for all that you're doing for URI. Go get him on Saturday, man. Let's get this thing going. Back in just a bit to wrap things up, AJ Pena. Welcome back once again to the Mews Tavern. I'll tell you, I think, right, they named the place after Moses Mews. I'll tell you what, you come up with a big play, next thing you know, they're naming taverns after you.
I'll tell you I think George might take a little offense to that one, but Moses would be very happy. That would be the biggest NIL deal in history.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, no unlimited wings.
Yeah, absolutely. All his friends and family eat. We're all good.
Try the Pink Panther. Oh, man,
twice.
Good stuff. Coach, I want to get a word about Maine before we go, but first, hashtag Rhody Athletics Challenge. We mentioned it a couple of times. A chance for people to donate to a specific program within the athletic department by midnight tonight, and all that money helps build more money within these structured with bonuses and matches and all. All you need to know is that every dollar you put in grows exponentially. It's hashtag Rhody Athletics Challenge. If you don't remember that, just go Rhody.com, and it's going to be the first story up there that you'll be able to see a chance to donate and find football and give us some money.
No, I mean, I think that's right. And I think, for everybody listening, we need to make sure we're clear. Everybody nowadays is all talking about NIL and money that's going to be going into the players' pockets. This is not about that. This is about supporting a football program that has significant needs to be able to present a first-class experience to our student athletes. Our university is outstanding. It's on the rise. We need to continue to invest in that. We've got a big vote coming up, Vote on 2.
Yes.
Which is a huge initiative by our president, Mark Parlange. And when you start looking at the vision and the forward growth, it takes money. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that when you're donating to the football program, you're helping us do our job better, and present a product to you that I think the entire state can be proud of.
For people going out to Saturday's game, give us 1, 2, or maybe 3 keys to this game for a victory for Rhode Island.
I think the line of scrimmage is huge. I think that special teams always plays a significant part in it. And besides that, I think it's who's going to be able to stay in the fight longer. My belief in our guys is that we'll go toe-to-toe for 60 minutes, and if we're executing in all 4 quarters, I feel very good about our chances. But, they're going to slug it out too, and we've had some knockdown dragouts with them that have gone both ways.
Sure.
And we'll be ready. They'll be ready. It's going to be a great game, and if you miss it, you're just not very smart.
Yeah, well, it's homecoming, man. You got to get out.
Come on.
The weather's going to be great again.
Yeah, 64 degrees, 63. A little bit of wind from west-northwest. It's perfect, man.
Are you a meteorologist?
Yes, I am. You didn't know that. I'm a doctor.
The west-northwest.
I slept at the Holiday Inn Express.
You got a dew point for me, Coach, for Saturday?
42. I don't know. That part I still haven't.
I don't even know if that's good or bad.
I don't know. I don't either.
Troy Gilmer, thanks for being here, not only today, but thanks for being here all the time, doing work for URI. And AJ Pena, you're the best. Bring us home on Saturday, man. I want to thank Andrew Meehan for being here as well, and everybody else. Thanks for coming out and supporting URI football. We'll see you on Saturday, 1 o'clock kickoff. And again, you want tickets, go Rhody.com, 874-RAMS. Let's make sure there is not a seat open. And hashtag Rhody Athletics Challenge. Thanks. Have a great night.
Thanks for listening to the Jim Fleming Show. Tonight's show has been brought to you by Rhode Island Medical Imaging, the official medical imaging company of URI Athletics. Dunkin' Donuts, sip the Rhody way. Ortho Rhode Island, the official orthopedic and sports medicine provider for URI Athletics. And by Pizza Gourmet, Rhode Island's wood-grilled pizza crust. Pizza Crust is a proud sponsor of URI football. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Rhody